a big welcome, if we can have the first slide up, which is there, to the first in a series of Get Ready for Race Equality Week 2023. I'm Javid Thomas, co-founder of Race Equality Matters, along with the fantastic Raj Tulsiani of Green Park, who can't be here today. I'm also the founder of the Collaboratory, which creates collaborations to tackle societal issues that matter the most. And Raj is from Green Park, headhunting firm, senior exec firm doing fantastic work in diverse recruitment at senior levels. I'm also delighted that we are joined today by expert speakers, Davina Brown and Denise McCausland from Croydon Council. They were one of our spotlight organisations for Race Equality Week 2022, and you'll hear from them very soon. Thank you all for joining us today. We know there's going to be between 100 and 200 people coming. We know more coming through the door at the moment. And from the attendees include minority colleagues from across the UK. We have had people from abroad before, senior leaders, D&I specialists and allies from different sectors. I think this demonstrates the importance that everyone has and that everyone has a part to play in Race Equality Week. Today's session, like the way I talk, is going to be very fast paced. There will be polls. As I said, you'll hear from Davina and Denise. There will be collaborative discussions, brainstorming and idea sharing. So hopefully you'll leave with some thoughts and ideas of how to help you run Race Equality Week 2023 and plan. There'll be a few videos which you'll be able to have access to after, and time permitting, an opportunity for a quick Q&A session. And we'll introduce you to Trailblazers, our exciting initiatives, and we'll explain more about that. As you hopefully know, we create concepts and solutions in collaboration with those with lived experience of racial inequality. The key is to help organizations make the impact we all want to see and indeed feel. So just to briefly introduce to our solutions, we have Race Equality Week, the reason we're here today. Safe Space, a 2-hour facilitated dialogue between 3 to 5 EXCO board members and up to 10 ethnic minority colleagues. It's in a protected environment, but the purpose of it enables brave conversations, uncomfortable discussions, but more importantly, it's action focused. So it's not a listening circle, it's not just talking, it's action driven. The Big Promise, which is all about turning words into action, more about that later. Tea Break, which enables organizations to hear how its people are thinking and feeling. So powerful. And again, you hear about that later. And then My Name Is, which is all about the importance of pronouncing other people's names correctly and using phonetic spelling to support this and other tactics. It was powered by Green Park, and in collaboration with Edelman, we launched an amazing phonetic tool to support My Name Is campaign during Race Equality Week. And were blown away by the response. We tracked 50,000 social posts in that week with 1.7 billion impressions, and it's still going strong. Please do look at it. I think it shows how important people find getting names right is. So thank you for all those that were part of that. Next slide. All of this is not possible without the support of our partners. You know, we offer this for free because we don't want any barriers to inclusion. So Green Park, a big thank you to Green Park and lifetime visionary partner BT. Founder partners, Auto Trader, Data Market Association, Edelman and HS2. Their support means you can access, as I said, these resources for free. We are a not-for-profit and very keen indeed need for further funding. So if you want to support us, marketing, anonymous donations, whatever, please do get in touch. You know, we do need this to keep this going. So thank you. Quick bit of housekeeping. We are recording this event for you to access afterwards along with the slides. If you have any questions along the way, please do put them in the chat and we'll try to respond to them then. Your sound will be auto-disabled until the breakout discussion groups. Please feel free to tweet during and after the event, post to social media. We need as many people to know about this as possible because it's this kind of community drive and movement that keeps the momentum going. So thank you. So before we start, we'd like to kick off with a first poll. So if you can just answer this, and we'll share these results with you. I call it the state of the nation. It's seeing how we're doing, thinking and feeling. So if we can launch the poll.
So the poll results, as we can see here, 58% identify as ethnic minority or appropriate equivalent and 40% as an ally, which is a fantastic mix, and it's important that everyone has a role to play. And we can see in the second poll, it's a mix of 22% senior leaders, 26% D&I, and 11% HR, 25% race network members, and 6% race network leads. Again, it's a whole mix of people that is needed to make Race Equality Week a success. Third question, is Race Equality Week in your organisation diary? Yes, 45%. So hopefully by the end of today's event, we can get that up. Did your organisation participate in Race Equality Week this year? 39% said yes, 25% unsure. So maybe it wasn't promoted enough if that was the case. But again, we want to get the numbers up. Number 5, did you implement any of the following solutions during Race Equality Week? And as you can see, is a mix of My Name was the most common one, and then Big Promise, and then Tea Break. So, which is very good. Why have you joined today's event? So 80% want to get ideas, 66% learn, and 64% be inspired. So some good data there. Question 7, how well do you think your organisation tackles race inequality? So look at the numbers here, it's 54%. So this is 2 years on since the George Floyd murder. 54% said not enough or not at all. 23% satisfactory, fairly well or really well was only 24%. So we've got quite a mix in this room where overall the progress isn't what we wanted to see and feel. Question 8, do you feel your senior leaders and managers are committed to tackling race inequality? A little but not enough, or no, is 61%. So again, quite poor in that sense, only 36%, which is our lowest actually. So again, interesting people attend today. So hopefully we can inspire you by the end of the event. Question 9, do you feel your senior leaders and managers are comfortable in talking about race? So very comfortable or comfortable is 47%, so nearly half. But not really, not at all, is again 50%. So I think that's one of the challenges why race is quite often avoided or not given the attention it needs because people are uncomfortable. Has your organisation done anything that's made notable impact in tackling race inequality? 47% said yes, so that is quite positive. So we'd love to hear from you what's been working.
Okay, so today, as we know, marks the second anniversary of the murder of George Floyd, and I know many organizations may be talking about it or reflecting on it today. It's also a very important day as it was a trigger that made us create Race Equality Matters following some research after the murder of George Floyd. And we know it's had a significant impact on people with lived experience. We also acknowledge that following the horrific events in Buffalo a week or so ago, many here today will once again have found things particularly difficult. Sadly, we hear and experience things regularly, which will naturally impact on our own mental health and well-being. So we'd just like to share this slide, which some of you may have seen. It's not ours. We know it's been out there in the public domain, but I think important to reflect on it for ourselves, for our colleagues, and anytime something comes up, to think about those most thoroughly affected. So when we set about creating Race Equality Matters, we carried out in-depth research with 70 different people. They were senior leaders, race network chairs, and D&I and race experts, and as well as hundreds of additional conversations, focus groups, and surveys. The findings were, and as you can see, some data today continue to be bleak. The majority could not name a single organization that was doing good for race equality. That's why this is so important. Many still experience racism and microaggressions in the workplace and disadvantaged because of the color of their skin or where they are from. Organizations were saying a lot of words and signing up to things. There's a lot of PR gesturing, but we're hearing there's been little real progress in the majority of cases. We wanted to move organizations and leaders from just talking about race into taking action that creates meaningful change. So one thing Race Equality Week was creating a collaboration with those involved in this research with lived experience across a spectrum of organizations, industries, and sectors in a true sense of collaboration to keep the momentum and drive for change going. So what we just like to do is share a quick video about this year's Race Equality Week. Thank you. So we've now engaged with over 3,500 organisations and had over 3 event registrations with attendees from across the globe, as you saw during Race Equality Week. 96% said it was helpful to hear from the speakers, and 95% of attendees would recommend the Race Equality Week events. So as a theme we focused on was action, not just words. And I think it's really important. No more talking, we need to take action. Next, 92% said they would look to implement something they'd learned from Race Equality Week. So again, we don't want to just talk about it. We want to give you the tools or the guidance to make things happen. Hopefully at today's and in today's event, you'll have something to take back with you. Next slide. Organisations in the UK beyond carried out activity. So here's a short video just highlighting what some did.
What have we done during the week? We've promoted the hashtag My Name Is campaign, awareness raising, which I wish had been introduced earlier in my life. On Tuesday, our Race Equality Network held an interactive mental health workshop focusing on the intersectionality between race and mental health. Yesterday, our Race Equality Network, and our chair is here, I can see her on screen, which is great, held a tea break with members of the corporate management team, so our most senior council officers, on equality and career progression and tackling barriers.
This week, we've got a focus on 2 particular areas. So first up, tomorrow morning, we'll be hosting a webinar on how to diversify your workforce through young talent, and we're exploring the benefits of attracting young talent from wide-ranging talent pools. And I think that's critical. And then another really important initiative that we're kicking off formally this week is the first official meeting of our Black Professionals Forum, which has been formed off the back of roundtable discussions we've been running with Black colleagues over the past year. These guys predominantly work in brand side, and they've spoken very candidly about the reasons behind the issue I mentioned earlier with regards to Black talent leaving the industry. And with their leadership, input, and amazing enthusiasm, actually, we're looking to really try and address those issues and really lie within the ethos of Race Equality Matters by focusing on the action plan as opposed to just talking about it.
We have a time to talk with our community on Wednesday, which is going to have our Dr. Joy White, a local resident, author and lecturer, who is going to join us. We have a roadshow on Friday with our staff, which is really an informal session for staff to talk more, understand what they need to do. And we have borrowed with pride the tea break idea from Race Equality Matters. And we also have a launch on Thursday of a video and an exhibition at Stratford Library of many artworks. I think it's really important to say we are committed, we are relentless, we are focused on the whole system, listening, hearing and taking action. Small and large actions will all make a difference. Bringing about the change we need requires our individual and collective commitment. Make what we do count to shape a future of race equality.
Thank you. So to make a great difference, we need 2023 to be even bigger. The more of us that are doing it, the more organizations, the more employees involved will help change happen. So before we hear from our speakers, as previously mentioned, we're going to do an opportunity for you all to collaborate and share and explore ideas. So we're going to throw you straight away into little small groups of about six people, where you'll have 8 minutes just to share thoughts or ideas, maybe some you've done, some you're thinking about, amongst each other in the group, or what you could do during Race Equality Week. So, hopefully you'll hear some ideas, and then what we can do is we can, we'll do a quick way of sharing these straight at the end, and then we can share these with everyone at the end as well. So you'll have a little nice menu of things to pick from. It will be quick, it will be dynamic, and hopefully you get a wealth of suggestions. We suggest someone maybe volunteers just chair the thing to give everyone a chance to speak. You won't have time to introduce yourselves. It's only 8 minutes, so you'll have just over a minute each, and we will give a 1-minute warning. So what we do when you go into the room, take yourselves off mute and then go straight into the discussion. So the question is, what could you do for Race Equality Week? just share ideas and get each other's thoughts. Okay. You might recall in last video, we had a lady from Hamida Ali, Croydon Council, spoke about their activity during Race Equality Week. So we're delighted to introduce to two people that were instrumental at Croydon Council for driving. That's Davina Brown and Denise McCausland. If you can unmute yourselves, please. Thank you very much. And we can take the slide down. So Davina is the Commissioning and Contracts Officer, Disabilities and or Autism Adults, Health and Integration at Croydon Council. She is also the chair of Croydon Council's Race Equality Network for Staff, a strong collective where employees' voices are heard, and that's not often the case. Denise is an equalities program manager for Croydon Council and has worked in the field of equalities for over 20 years as an external consultant. She joined Croydon Council in September 2021, and one of the key projects she has been involved in is the development of Equalities Pledge and George Floyd Race Matters Pledge, which I think they launched today. So a huge welcome to you both. We're delighted that Croydon Council really got involved in Race Equality Week this year. What impact did it have?
It had a huge impact, actually, Javid. We held our second tea talk with the corporate management team, and that was specifically around barriers to career progression and how we can tackle those. Also, you know, that then formed an action plan. And from that action plan, we now have an EDI board that is chaired by our CEO. We've got a new zero tolerance policy. We're going to be training up staff to become workplace mediators so we can do mediation in-house. We've got positive action training programs and development of skills and career paths for employees. And we now have diverse interview panels across the organisation, as well as the anonymous applications. So it's been a really action-packed time since Race Equality Week, and HR have been really instrumental in supporting us, and the network have been pushing and holding the organisation to account to make sure that these actions are taking place.
I think it's fantastic organisations having an action plan, and like you said, it's that keeping track of it. Are we, was it just talk at the beginning? Everything you've done, it sounds brilliant and does echo what makes an impact. So as you said, maybe it would be great in a year's time to see how the action plan's progressed. So thank you for
that. For me, it's about awareness. I mean, some people just have a lack of awareness, lack of education. We can all learn things. So I think Race Equality Week is a great opportunity for that, and to really put race at the forefront. It's also a time where staff can share their lived experiences. And when we've done that at the tea talks, it's been especially powerful for the senior managers to hear lived experience from staff, people of colour, and what their experience has been. And I think they've been quite shocked and taken back by some of the disclosures where people have been so open and honest in that. But from those testimonies, we can learn, and we can move forward in a positive way and really bring, the whole organisation and the culture with us forward.
Brilliant. And do you have any ideas or plans yet for 2023?
For 2023, we would love to do something in person and interactive. Obviously, due to the pandemic, all of our previous events were on MS Teams, where we had an interactive mental health workshop. We also did a session around Asian misrepresentation in the media. And those sessions were really well attended and really interactive, but it'd be great to do something in person, bringing in the community people as well.
Brilliant, fantastic. And so we're still trying to get Denise back onto the technology, but is there anything you would like to add to it? And said there's a chance for people to ask Q&As at the end. Any of the key highlight or top tip to run it you'd share with people?
Top tip, I would say start promoting from early, really try and get people on board, encourage your team members, even the simple things like changing your MS Teams background to having the Race Equality Week. When you have an event and there's 50 people on screen with the same background, it's really powerful. And, it's all about strength in numbers. So just promote, and you should have a fantastic week.
Fantastic, brilliant. And hopefully everyone has the phonetic spelling of their names to sort of get that message out there. So thank you. So, Davina and Denise hopefully will be able to answer some Q&As at the end. time permitting. So they mentioned tea break and it made a big difference. And in the breakout group, I think 2 organizations also mentioned it. So as you know, we create solutions alongside those with lived experience. One of the solutions is Tea Break, which we did in partnership with Network Rail and their Race Network Culture Fusion, who were the architects of it. So and they were very generous in sharing their tips and advice and helping build this. So we'd just like to share a video for yourselves, if you don't know about it, to explain Tea Break. Thank you.
The Tea Break provides the framework and opportunity for an organisation to hear the honest voice and feelings of its colleagues about race inequality. All employees are invited to join a 1-hour themed online discussion about an issue that matters. Individuals can remain anonymous, listen to others, or actively participate. It's freedom of choice. Benefits of the Tea Break include fosters inclusion, supports well-being, highlights issues for action, removes the barriers and the fear of talking about race, normalises conversations on race, and builds understanding of the issues. You can also join the Race Equality Matters Tea Break community. We've set up a peer support network on Guild. Guild is a community app for professionals. It provides private, secure spaces for collaborative discussion. Guild is already helping over 20,000 people have conversations that matter. We also have a Tea Break guide, co-created by those with lived experiences of race inequality. This guide consists of 4 phases and 11 steps. This guide outlines the practical steps you can follow to set up and run a tea break.
Thank you. So as you have seen there, there are 4 phases and 11 steps to the tea break to get it right. So these are important to do all these 11 steps. And the guide walks you through it. You can download the step-by-step guide from our website. You'll find the link in the chat. If tea break is something you'd potentially look to implement, take a look at our recorded How to Do It Right workshop. So we kind of go through how to do these steps and why these steps are important. So some organizations have these conversations and it doesn't always go right, but maybe they're not doing all the steps. We had about 40 different people feed into this. And it's making a big difference. And we know organizations have read the guide and within 3 weeks have run a tea break. You know, it doesn't take forever to do that. So there's more information in the chat. So please do look at that. And we have maybe some exciting news in due course about tea break, which anyone that's looking to do it, we'll be in touch in due course. Next slide, please. Many organizations are comfortable and know how they can engage their organization and colleagues in Race Equality Week. But we're often asked for tips and guidance. And with a number of new organizations here today, we thought it might be helpful if we share briefly 6 key steps, and we can send more information after the event to help you plan it. So it's identify your Race Equality Week lead or leads. Try not to do it on your own. Engage senior leaders. You need to get senior buy-in to really drive it in an organization. Create a working group. That's where it's most successful. You've got different people with different roles, like you do with any other sort of big initiative. Identify activities you could run during the week. So you may have your own ideas, get from the staff and also from the list we're sharing. Promote Race Equality Week internally and externally accordingly. And I know some people have like clients and as they get involved, and then share your activity. Do let us know. And if you've got some plans, we will look to spotlight organizations between December and February. So let us know what you plan to do. And you know, we'll proudly promote what you're doing. So thank you for that. So before we move on to our next collaboration, we have a couple of short videos to help share some more ideas with you. The first one featured an example of an organization that used these 6 steps and really maximize the impact of the week. Thank you.
So we really did adopt the My Name Is hashtag, which has been brilliant. We've had a number of films from different colleagues within Network Rail that have shared it both in Network Rail but also on LinkedIn. So that's been a really positive development for us, because the raft of names that can be mispronounced is extensive, as you know. So that's been a really good source of conversation, good source of education. We held a race, religion, faith and belief event, which was looking at the intersectionality of those aspects of our identities. And again, that was, I guess, leading into action, not words. You know, we participated on the Engaging Senior Leaders event yesterday, which I thought was really, really very good. Some really great conversations. Again, in terms of the action, not words hashtag, HS2 is collaborating with us in hosting Stand Up for Race Equality initiative that we have developed, which helps people to understand the links between safety and inclusion. And they're going to be publishing it around all of their supply chain as well as their colleagues. And the reason I wanted to share my screen is because hopefully you can see this notice board in our stations. So a number of our stations were promoting that it was Race Equality Week, and it's an example of one from Monday. So up and down the country, this was us again demonstrating our commitment, and this was off station managers' own back. So I'm incredibly proud of them for their activities there.
So again, some great ideas and examples of what organizations could look or consider doing. Another solution we've talked about is the Big Promise. So again, we'd like to introduce that, and then we get more interaction between you all. Play the video, please. Thank you.
The Big Promise is a UK-wide initiative where organisations and their employees commit a promise to deliver real impact on race inequality in their workplace. Race Equality Matters Community has reviewed 15 charters with over 200 commitments that are measurable and will create meaningful change, from which we have identified bespoke sets of magnificent 7 promises for board members and executives, senior leaders, allies, and ethnic minority employees. We also have the Big Promise Guide. This guide, co-created with those with lived experience through research, it provides step-by-step support. The guide consists of 3 phases and 7 steps. The benefits of the guide are clear accountability, clear and transparent aims, simple but effective approach, transparent and measurable commitments, and an opportunity to hold senior leaders to account.
I will mention that one organization did the Big Promise and then actually someone joined them just because they knew that what they did. And I'll call them, it's Northamptonshire Carers. And actually they've now adopted the Big Promise into their organization strategy. So it's in the top table. So, you know, the board of directors and trustees, you know, have adopted this. So everyone's held to account, and in their one-to-ones and catch-ups, how are you doing on your Big Promise? So it's at the heart and the DNA of an organization, and they have noticed the difference it's making. So without further ado, back to yourselves. So we've been asked, so you saw the brilliant stuff Network Rail did where people were mentioning it, and you do see sometimes during Mental Health Awareness Week, some buildings went up green. I think it's International Disability Day, all buildings go purple. So one thing we've been asked is, you know, we got a building, what color should we light it up? So there's no right or wrong answer. So just go in the chat and just put down the color you think it should be do, and maybe even a reason behind the color you may have chosen. So yeah, we'll give you about 30 seconds just to go in the chat and put color or colors you think a building could be lit up. And the idea is, you know, across the UK or even the world, we see these buildings and we know it's, you know, during Race Equality Week. So on to the next one. Second question is, are there any key topics you would like us to explore at our thought leadership events during Race Equality Week? So this year we had a couple of them. I won't say them in case they influence what you might say now. So what do you think would be really interesting topics to hear about? And I said, what we do, we don't just talk about it. We have organizations or experts that share how they've tackled the challenge or the issue. So basically, what topics would be you like us to explore at our Race Equality Week thought leadership events? So do throw something down, because if it's on here, there's a fair chance we'll end up focusing on at least one, if not two of these. So if we can go on to the third question, the third final one of this quick fire round, can you suggest what activity organizations could do that you believe would make a real impact? So whether you're doing it yourselves or any idea, if our organizations did this, it would really make an impact. And it might be things you've experienced, maybe even in other protected characteristics. You might see something fantastic for International Women's Day or something. What activity could an organization do that you think will make an impact? Because I said, we don't want just activity, we want stuff that makes a difference. Please finish off on that. We'll be going to the Q&A session soon, but we'd like to share an exciting new initiative, Trailblazers, and we'll have a quick poll as well before we go into the Q&A. Hopefully, I think Denise is back and we'll be able to hear from her as well then, or she can help contribute to some of the answers. So on to the new exciting initiative. As you know, Race Equality Matters' aim is to turn declarations of commitment and PR gesturing and support from organizations and individuals into meaningful actions. It's all about meaningful action. So we also want to recognize those organizations that are driving meaningful change. So we'll be launching our Trailblazer accreditation mark soon. It will signal an organization's commitment to taking action on race inequality and evidence of making an impact. So it'll work like this. Organizations will submit an application and the questions will all be determined by what people need to see happening in organizations or where it's not happening in their organizations. Each application will then be reviewed and scored by independent panel members. All of them will have lived experience of race inequality from different organizations outside the Race Equality Matters team, so it's independent, neutral people. The panel will decide which organizations are making genuine and impactful inroads into tackle race inequality, and then therefore deserve the Trailblazer accreditation mark. The feedback you'll get in the end will be you're a trailblazer, so congratulations. You're not, and this is the reasons why, or you're on the borderline. This is what you need to tweak. So basically, you'll get, it's not pass and failure or anything. It's just this is where you're feeling short from people with lived experience. This is what they'd like to see, and they're outside your organization, so people will speak openly. Everything is anonymous. In that sense, and the panelists, when they get the application, they won't know the name of the organization. They'll just know the sector you're from, etc. So that's the idea of it. And what we're trying to do is up everyone's game to achieve what we want to see and do. So we may, as an organization, think we're doing really well, but let's have neutral people decide, actually, that is good. I would like to work for an organization like yourselves. If you go to the next slide, please. There are two types. Trailblazer status. The first is for organizations that have successfully run a Race Equality Matters solution. So big promise, safe space. My name isn't T-Breaker. We know some have done it already. So please feel free to apply. And basically, if you're recognized for running one of these and it's made an impact, because it's not just doing it, it's actually doing it where it's made an impact and you can demonstrate it's made an impact, then you'll get Trailblazer status decided by this independent panel. And you'll keep this Trailblazer status for life. So you will be known as a Big Promise Trailblazer. I guess these are early adopters, because I'm sure in years' time, these will be mainstream in most organizations, like unconscious biases training has been in the past and things like that. But we need early adopters to that. And then you'll be role models and case studies as you see fit. The second option, or the second way of becoming a Trailblazer, is our bronze, silver, gold. So it's a progression thing. So initially you apply for bronze status. And again, there is criteria which will determine bronze level. And you can hang on to this to up to about 18 months. And then you either have to reapply again or apply for silver. Because we need to see continuous momentum and progress. If you don't progress, you then lose that status. So we don't want someone saying we were a bronze Trailblazer 25 years ago. That's I've noticed organizations have won awards and they're now taking a date off it. So I could talk with bitter experience. I've never won an award, so that's why. So basically, this is something to be proud of. And we know if an organization's on the trail, they're doing something quite current. It's quite recent. It isn't, going back. So George Floyd murder is already 2 years ago, and lots of organizations were making noise. Platinum is ultimatum. So this is an organization that's really nailed it. Our gut feeling is if organizations are doing well, they're in the bronze and silver thing, but you apply for bronze first to keep the momentum going. This will ensure people in organizations will know that their organization is driving it. And the applications does ensure that we get the voice of those with lived experience in that organization. It's not just a D&I person or a HR person or a marketing person just filling it out. We want evidence of it, and that's how the panelists do it. So if you are serious about your organization tackling race inequality, then this is what to go for. And then again, you'll be a role model for other organizations, and this is how we do it. Again, this idea has come because we're always asked, do you know an organization that's good for race equality? And the majority cannot name a single one. So that's why. So please do let us know if you're interested in being involved. I said panelists have to have have to identify as ethnic minority. I think that's very important. But anyone in an organization can apply on behalf of their organization, but we'll be sending more information later. So if we can just go on to a quick poll before the Q&A session. Thank you.
So the results for our closing poll is, do you think your organization will take part in Race Equality Week 2023? It's now 73%. When at the beginning, it was about 39%, so their organizations took part this year. So obviously fantastic. Thank you to our speakers for helping inspire on that. Question 2, when do you think you'll start planning? So a whole range here. Important. What's great is 5% have already started. So well done yourselves. Thank you. Has today's event helped you plan or have ideas for Race Equality Week? So from a good amount to significantly, if I can do my maths, it's about 71%, which is fantastic. So yeah, that's good news. Which of the following may you consider doing? Really interesting here. So quite high responses. 81% to tea break, 66% to my name is, and 57% big promise, and then 51% safe space, which is fantastic. And you can see many have got so 16% say other, and throughout the year we will highlight more ways you can get involved. Do you think Race Equality Week will help make an impact on tackling race inequality in your organisation? So from a catalyst to change to a great deal to significant, it's 78%. So that's really clearly showing we know it's not a solution on its own, but it will make an impact. How easy do you think it will be to get your senior leaders on board? Fairly easy to very easy is 61%, 22% with difficulty. So hopefully we can change this over the next few months. Question 7, how confident do you feel about planning? So fairly confident and very confident is 51%, so that's really good. A little confident with a bit more support, 43%. So hopefully our Get Ready for Race Equality Week events will help you on that. How important is it to hear what other organizations are doing that is making an impact on tackling race inequality? So very and significant is 89%, and that's why we get speakers that don't just talk about what they're doing, they have evidence to show it's making an impact, and we can share with you. Question 9, how would you like to be involved in Trailblazers? So as you can see, some of you want to be panelists and some possibly consider being Trailblazers. So we'd be in touch with you all quite soon. And please tick what you think will make an impact during Race Equality Week. So high up there is leaders demonstrating evidence of their commitment. I think demonstrating is an important word there. And then sharing what has been achieved. Allies demonstrating evidence of their commitment is 64%. And organisers demonstrating how they have invested in race equality, 70%. So a lot of this is becoming accountable and transparent. And again, that's key. And again, less talk, more action is 61%. So from our research, some really key things here that's going to help make a difference. And another stat there, 62% driving change together. So it's kind of, we all have a part to play. So thank you tons for feeding into this, and we will get back to you and build Race Equality Week 2023 with your fantastic input.
So if we can take the poll down, and then we'll go into some Q&As. How can we realistically begin to tackle underrepresentation where roles are already assigned? It's quite a tough question. So I'm going to say, Denise or Davina, can either of you answer that?
Yeah, that is a good question. But as you said, Javid, it's a tough question. I think we have to, look at policies and the procedures and the way in which, things are done. We can also try to, support staff with like training and development opportunities. And that's why at Croydon, we've started to look at doing the career pathways, so people can start to see where they're going, actually shadowing people in senior leadership roles and having opportunities to work on certain projects and strategic level work that they might not get the opportunity to do in their day job, because we do realize, a lot of the time employers say you need experience, but it's like, where do you get that experience from? So it's just exposing people, I guess, to areas they might not get that exposure to otherwise.
And I think if you go into our content hub on Race Equality Matters, we did have a session on about tackling bias recruitment progression. And we had a whole range of experts there from organizations, agencies, and recruitment organizations talking about how to remove that. Yeah, there's bias there, if that is how to remove it or how to make it more equitable. So that might be worth having a look at on our hub. So hopefully that half answered the question. Do you engage with charity infrastructure bodies like NCVO or professional bodies like CIPD, an association of volunteer managers who might reach organizations in a different way? So I would say we do reach out to some umbrella organization infrastructure. I'd say sadly overall I don't want to engage. That's all I can say. There are other umbrella organizations like the Data Marketing Association and Diversity Project and Media Trust that are fantastic collaborators and do go out to their community, their corporate networks, and promote and champion things. So there's some fantastic things, and there's others that don't want to engage. But we've got enough wonderful people like you all here today that will actually, they'll follow suit in due course. I'm going to say this is a very tongue shoot. Maybe when they hear about trailblazers, they may come this way. But they've got to earn it, trust me. So next question, how can we get our non-ethnic minority religious organizations, namely churches, to be more inclusive and welcome of non-white races, particularly in the light of the Ukrainian refugees? So I don't know if Davina or Denise want to answer that.
Just to say, I think, again, it's about engagement and building those relationships with the local churches, the local mosques, maybe some joint events. It's about working in collaboration and partnership and really sharing that shared vision, about how we can make things more inclusive. And again, even for them to maybe hear some experience of people who have tried to, interact in their places of worship and might not have felt welcome. And sometimes that feedback can be hard to receive, but it's helpful in order to, drive forward the change that's needed.
Absolutely. And I do think, I think a version of tea break can work there, where people can have these open conversations to understand people's thoughts. And, if you're not mixing with certain communities or hearing the voices of other communities, how do you understand what they're thinking apart from what you may read in the press or media, which is biased? So I think it's having these conversations, it held in a safe space. So I think it's a really good way to engage, because I know, the Ukrainian thing has brought up a lot of different thoughts, etc. So can I just go? Is there a way to pair organizations with local charities in order to offer mentorship, mock interviews, CV feedback, and for underrepresented groups? So is there a way to pair organizations with local charities in order to offer mentorship, mock interviews, CV groups? We are exploring about we don't try to duplicate what others are doing. So there are a couple of really good mentoring organizations out there that we're trying to engage with. So that might be something we can offer down the line. Yeah, and that one organization we talk about, a younger generation, like sort of 16 to 25 from disadvantaged communities, if I could use that word, sort of they've been identified as not having the opportunity. So again, given these skills. So that's something we may look to explore. But if anyone knows a really good organization we can partner and collaborate with, because we won't be an expert at it, or it could be a solution we offer down the line. So yeah, do let us know. Do you have any experience in Davina of that sort of support? Davina?
Well, yeah, as a local authority, obviously we do work in partnership and collaboration with many of our community organisations, and as part of our new recruitment strategy, we're actually going to be working a lot more closely with local colleges. South Bank University has a campus there now, and really trying to link in, because we're trying to encourage and bring in a lot more young people into the council.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. Just off my head, Joe, one quick one. One organisation we're talking to that comes to my mind is 1 Million Mentors. I think they're called 1MM, so they're worth looking at. And final one for Davina from Gulu. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I do apologize if not. So Davina, was there any introspection by the organisation, i.e. acceptance, that there were gaps and they're having this driven from the top?
Yes, it was definitely acknowledged that there were some gaps, and that there was some culture changes needed in order to make improvements. So we've really had great support from our CEO and the new corporate management team, who are driving that message down. So it's filtering down, and hopefully it's not getting watered down, because again, as a network, we're there to interact with the staff on, any level and keep the message going forward. But yeah, it has been greatly supported, luckily.
Brilliant, thank you. So if we just kindly wrap up, so appreciate it, just slightly overrun. So just like to draw your attention to forthcoming events, which could be useful and helpful. So there is a workshop on safe space, which we touched upon earlier. And if you go onto our website, there's a little video which introduces you to it. And then get ready for Black History Month. So we've been asked by organizations, can we get everyone together to share thoughts and ideas on that? So that might be of interest to many. Again, just register for free on the website. Next slide, please. A huge thank you to our partners and sponsors. And we do have to say, it's really important that this is all free, and all these wonderful solutions are free, and we can do this work to support you and your work because of their support and donations, etc. So please do think if you can help us. But also huge thank you to the wonderful Davina Brown and Denise, of course. And I do apologize for not being able to get your thing. I don't know what went wrong there, but we hopefully we can have you speak at another event. Next slide. If you enjoyed sharing ideas and meeting each other, we do recommend you join our free Race Equality Matters Guild group, where you can connect with others, carry on the conversation, ask questions, exchange best practice. People are asking questions here. Can you recommend this or recommend that? Again, that's where you can do it. We've got, I think 200 members already sharing experience and ideas. You can access it on laptops and tablets, but we do encourage you to download the app. It's a bit like a WhatsApp and LinkedIn thing. That's the best way of describing it. So get the app. It's much more user-friendly, I'd say. Next slide, please. That's all we have time for. And I know I've overgone. So thank you all for attending. Please do shout about this. Do keep in touch. If you haven't registered for Race Equality Matters, do so, because then we can keep you informed of all other stuff going, because we know many of you, this is your first time engaging with us. Do register on our website, follow us on LinkedIn, and watch out for a new jobs board that we're coming up to encourage and support access to a wider, diverse community. This is for organizations looking for it. So that's going to be live in the next week or two, hopefully. So, and we'll let people know. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for your time, and have a great summer until we see you soon. Take care. Thank you all.